Okay, I believe you can see, guys. Yep, we're back on the 220 or the 350. I got the timing chain in that I ordered. Set that up out of the way where you guys can see. Same thing with this. So we can't get this ran back here out of the way where it's supposed to be. Because it's supposed to run down there out of the way. We're gonna go ahead and get this timing chain out. We'll start off with taking off the cover we did last time up here at the top. Well, I say that. Oh. Well, maybe not. There we go. Alright. You guys see, right? Yeah, y'all see what I'm doing. Okay. We're going to go ahead and take this cover off. Went ahead and drained the oil. I did not videotape that, thank God. That turned into a bloodbath real quick. I kind of got it everywhere, guys. Now the cover's off, we can see the chain and everything like before. We're going to go ahead and pull the cam tensioner out. Move the center nut here. Get this out of our way. Take the lock ring with it. Get the spring. Set those safely off to the side so you don't lose them. And then we're going to take 8mm and get this cam tensioner all the way out. Now if those are out of our way, we're going to go ahead and remove this bottom cover like we did in the last video. And you want to keep up with these nuts. If you do happen to lose them or you're missing them, they're M4s, I believe. About everything on this bike's M4, M6, and M8. Whether it's Panhead, Phillips, or Allen. You can kind of replace the hardware with whatever you want. It don't really matter. And right in the old box it went. Well, where did that screw go? Well, I got got 3 out of the 4. I don't rightly see where the other one went. Doesn't appear to be in the pan, unless it fell down in the drain hole. Nope, there it is, right here on the floor, guys. Got it. Alright. Go ahead and keep this oil pan roughly right in this area. We're going to go ahead and remove all these bolts here. These are all the ones for the stator cover. But we may have to remove this first. I just honestly don't remember. Okay, we're going to go ahead and remove this bolt. If you can see it, if there ain't too many shadows here, you should be able to. Once again, ugga-dugga. Rigid, of course. And yes, I know chrome socket. Not supposed to, but go ahead and loosen that one up. Go ahead and loosen this one here. And that's that. Next, I'm going to go ahead and remove it. It appears to have some kind of keyway. I'm assuming because there's no way to pull start. It's splined, so we'll just go ahead and pull this out if we can. A little tight. You may got to get a little creative. There we go. Okay. So we got some wear pattern there, but it doesn't seem to grab my nail or anything, so should be good there. Set that off with the bolt. Out of the way and safe. Next, we're going to go ahead and pull these bolts. They are M8s, so get you an M8 socket. They shouldn't be very tight. We want to go ahead and loosen all of them up best we can. I may be fiddling with the light here because I can't see. There should be some on the bottom of the engine. Yeah, right here behind this shifter. If I can potentially get to it. I have to push the shifter down out of your way. Okay, we have one there, and there's another one right here, and one right here, another one, another one. I believe I heard it just released from the case. Find you something, give it a couple little light taps. The stator itself is bolted to the case. The flywheel stays behind because it's on the shaft. So there may be a little resistance getting this cover off. But just take your time. Don't go to prying with anything in between the case. That's a good way to damage the case and it never seal and go to leaking oil real bad. So don't do none of that. Just want to loosen them off enough. So if we can't grab this case, there we go. See how it kind of sucked back? That's the magnets. Alright. Hopefully we do not damage this gasket it's behind here, because in my infinite wisdom I did not order another one. Because I'm not 100% sure on whether we're still going to pull this entire engine out and do a fresh rebuild, you know, top end, low end, everything. I do not know the state of the transmission, so there is that. I have, like you guys, I've only heard this thing run for approximately 30 seconds. I know nothing more other than that. I have no idea whether it has first, second, third, or fourth. I don't know if high-low range is working. We may also have to remove the shift shaft, but it's not a big deal. It's a bolt and it's keyed. Just to be safe, let's go ahead and see if we can't get that off there. Yeah, it's 10 millimeter. It's not a happy 10. Go ahead and see if we can't get this off. Make it a little easier to get this cover off. But I intend to reuse the gasket it's behind here. Just smear a little Yama Bond on it. That's if it needs it. It may not need it. Gasket may still be 100% usable. I don't know. I'm just trying not to sink no more money in this bike than what absolutely necessary until I hear it run for more than 30 seconds. May have to do a little wiggling, a little prying. There's a tab right here. I don't know if you can see it in camera. Oh, of course not. You ain't been able to see anything I've been doing, have you? There, that might be a little better. But there's a little tab right here. We removed the bolt off the top of it. This is a keyed shaft for the shift selector. Give me 1 minute, guys. I'm having technical difficulties. So we can't put a little pry on it a little bit, so if we can't get it to come forward. That shaft don't really want to move. Yeah. It's moving a little bit. It is being stubborn, like most things. Alright, we managed to get a little wrench behind it. Let's give it a little pry. Before, let's get a little creative. Don't want to pry on things too much. Okay, I had to go get a little persuader. So if we can get that in there. Man, this thing don't want to come out. Watch your fingers doing this. She's coming. Ow! That hurt. Like I said, watch your fingers. Whew! That got me good. Set that off out of the way. Whew. That's smarts, let me tell you. Right. Alright, wait for continue getting these bolts out. Alright. Looks like another shorty. These bolts are different lengths, but usually, like if you can see right here, this boss is sticking out further than this one. The taller ones are usually longer bolts. And the shorter ones are the short ones. Sometimes it can be hard to tell. Just when you got to put them back in, don't tighten anything, just run them down. But if they feel like they're getting tight, stop. And try putting a short one in. And then of course there's always take you a piece of cardboard and mark out. That way you know exactly where every bolt came out of. Sometimes I will, I'm usually just not that worried about it. I'm usually pretty good at figuring it out. Alright, that should be all the bolts. See if we can slide the stator cover off. Alright. Oop, not good. We seem to have pulled the starter gear rod with us. That happens because it's currently magnetized to the case. We lost a little washer down here. Grab it. That went on top. Put it back. Everything else still seems to be somewhat in place. We got needle bearings, they all still look good. Yeah, it still looks like it's still aligned. There we go. Got that all the way back in. Okay. So about getting some more light back on this. Alright, you guys see? Somewhat, yeah. Alright. Next, we need this. This is the flywheel tool. It's a 35 millimeter. This particular part number, I don't know. But we need the cam bolt we previously pulled out. You're here. Thread that back in. Not cam bolt, but a crank bolt. My bad. Alright, as far as it goes, snug. Then we want to take our installation or removal tool. It's threaded in here. Matches the threads. It's on the flywheel. Well, I say that. Might not be able to do it with this nut. Appears to be a little too long. Okay. You may not need to need, we'll try it without it, but you don't want to damage the shaft if you can get away with it. Alright, tool's seated. Now we want to take this bolt, it goes through it, start running it down. Okay. This is a 19 millimeter impact. Get you a crescent. So hold on to the tool. And we'll go with very light. Just like that. Okay. Our flywheel, one-way bearing right here. And we'll move the center bolt out so we can just sit it on the flat of the socket, or tool. It looks like a socket. So we're just going to sit that flat down like that. Next, we need to remove the spur. This is the one-way gear. While you're doing this, you can go ahead and point you down here. You can see what I'm doing. This should only rotate one way. You rotate it the other way, it should lock up and turn the flywheel. If it's bad, it won't. Then you got to replace your one-way gear. But this one's perfectly fine, locks up the other way. So, we're good there. You have a needle bearing. Let's go ahead and inspect that. Little sludgy in this case, but it's not bad. I've seen worse by a lot. Let's see. Okay, there's the key. You won't be able to remove the needle bearing unless you pull the key. I'm trying to get it around here where you can see. Unless you pull that key there. Y'all can see that. Of course not, I still got you pointed down, don't I? Alright, yeah. there's a key right here. It's like a driftwood key. You won't be able to remove this needle bearing, which is fine. We don't necessarily have to. We want to inspect the sprocket. They're not pointed, so the sprocket is still good. Next, what we want to do is go back up to the top, right there. We know the top here. We're going to go ahead and remove this top bolt here. That's the cam bolt. Set it off to the side so it don't get lost. No guarantee we still ain't gonna lose it. Alright, reach in here, grab the cam gear, and slowly work the chain off of it. Again, set that to the side. Inspect it. There is some wear on it you would expect to see, but these aren't necessarily sharp points yet. They're still rounded, so this is still fine to use. You want to check the lower one too. Then we just kind of let this chain fall out of the bottom here. Might have to pick it up some. And kind of fish it off that gear so we can start fishing it out. You may have to remove the guide, the tensioner guide, if you can't seem to slide it out. You can usually wiggle her on out. There we go. There's our old chain. Right there. Let's set it up here on the handlebar.